The state agency launched an investigation after the death of a 9-month-old child at Northwest Iowa daycare back in May. According to an Iowa Department of Health and Human Services report, the daycare's registration is now revoked. KTIV's Matt Hoffman spoke with the Woodbury County Sheriff's Office sergeant who says there's not enough evidence to support criminal charges. Matt, what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. We also contacted Twyla Ryson, who runs an in-home daycare over there in Lawton, Iowa. She declined an on-camera interview, but in a text to KTIV, she says the baby left here alive after the ambulance arrived. According to DHHS reports we obtained, the baby died from choking. An Iowa Department of Health and Human Services child care complaint alleges the daycare had unapproved people in the residence, used unapproved assistants, that the primary provider left another provider alone with more children than allowed, and that the primary provider was caring for more children than allowed while a co-provider was absent. According to the report, Ryson was inside with 6 children, aged 6 months to 1 year old. At the same time, Ryson's husband was outside with 10 older children. Ryson told investigators she gave the baby a graham cracker, then turned around to redirect 2 children and prepare a plate for lunch. When she turned back around, the complaint says the child was, quote, limp in the baby has been identified by her family as May Anthony, who had only attended the daycare for a few months before her death. Ryson then placed May on the carpet and began CPR. Her husband then took over while Ryson called 911. Ultimately, the department found a revocation of the daycare's registration was necessary because of the, quote, multiple and severity of non-compliances, end quote. In Lawton, Iowa, Matt Hoffman, KTIV News 4. And we also found an Iowa Department of Health and Human Services report about the daycare from April 7th, 2023. That's about 7 weeks before the incident where May died. In the April report, DHHS said the provider was holding a daycare child when she was involved in a physical altercation with another household member. According to the report, Ryson was holding a child when her daughter shoved her up against the wall with her arm on her throat. That shove was hard enough that Ryson had to bite her daughter to break away. The child she was holding was not harmed. Ultimately, DHHS found Ryson was the protector and not the aggressor. Accordingly, the daycare and the state agreed to a plan where Ryson's daughter would be prohibited from the property during daycare hours. No further action was required, the state consultant later wrote.
And Matt, the child died in late May, so what's happening now with the investigation?
Yeah, Jessica, so that criminal investigation is closed, but the family of May is encouraging the public to check the department's website to see if a daycare provider has any complaints against them. They said, in part, our family wishes for May's continued legacy to be helping families access accurate and up-to-date information to help them make informed decisions about their daycare providers. Jessica.
All right, thanks for that update, Matt. And if you are a parent concerned or a guardian that's concerned about your child's daycare, you can head on over to our website right now, ktiv.com, for resources. Now, tomorrow night on News 4 at 6, Matt Hoffman will step back in and will actually speak to a daycare referral service about things you can look out for.